Welcome to our channel. Today we will share the story of a woman who carries the heavy burden of being disloyal to her husband. Joins us as our main character shares her story. My name is Sarah. I am married. I have a son. I am very attractive and look quite young for my age. By contrast, my husband is not a good-looking man and is 20 years older than me. To tell you the truth, I don't love him because of the age gap between us. I have cheated on my husband with our son's roommate. I will tell you the entire story. I was born to working-class parents in a small town. We were not rich and wouldn't travel much or go out to fancy restaurants. I wasn't very successful at school and, to be honest, didn't want to study. Studying hard was not for me. After graduating from college, I didn't want to go to a university. I spent a lot of time at home. My two brothers were also unemployed after college and would spend their time idly, doing nothing. I had a lot of suitors who wanted to marry me. Once my father told me that a man 20 years my senior was asking for my hand. I refused right away, without even seeing the man's photo, because he was too old for me. My mom tried to convince me, reminding me that my suitor was doing well financially and that he would provide my father and my brothers with jobs. The man asking for my hand started sending me gifts every day. Soon I realized that my mother was right. Maybe I would be happy with this man, that I would become attached to him or even fall in love with him. But it didn't happen. Even though he is the father of my child, I never loved him. Indeed, he is a decent person and cares about me, but he is getting older and older. He was 40-year-old when he married me. I didn't like the way he looked either. But I accepted this situation and we got married. After the birth of my son, I started to become attached to my husband, and as the years passed I got used to him. We were doing well financially and traveled much. We were living happily. Things took a turn to the worse when my son started the university last year. First he was staying with us, but after a while, he moved to another house where he would stay with his roommate Matthew. Sometimes I invited them over for dinner. Matthew was a tall, dark, handsome and well-behaved man. After a while, my son told me that Matthew's family was having financial problems and he couldn't pay his half of the rent. I helped Matthew with the rent as he was my son's friend. I would visit my son's place twice a week to help him with cleaning and cooking. Every time I visited them, Matthew would be home and shower me with compliments. He would tell me how beautiful I was and that I was a good and exemplary young mother. He complimented me a lot about my beauty. Once I visited them again. Alex was at the university and Matthew was in the living room talking to a girl. I apologized and left the house. Surprisingly, I caught myself feeling jealous of Matthew. I wondered why he was with that girl. It was ridiculous as I was married and Matthew was my son's age. I felt lost. I was terrified of making a mistake. I didn't go to their house for 3 days in order to stay away from Matthew. I knew that what I was thinking was wrong. Shortly after that, Alex texted me, asking me to help with the housework as he would be at the university all day. I agreed. I went back to my son's place. Matthew was at home again. I didn't look at his face and started cleaning the kitchen. I had to stay in that house until the evening as I had promised my son that we would have supper together. I started cooking. Matthew came to the kitchen and apologized to me for being with that girl the other day. "What are you talking about? Your life is your business?" I told Matthew. He hugged me and continued apologizing. Stop this right away. I am married. Dawn, tell me you have feelings for me? I told him. Then Matthew told me he was in love with me. I love you and I desire you. I was with that girl because she looks like you? Matthew said. We started talking like two lovers. Swayed by his beautiful words, I slept with him that day. I forgot about my husband that day. Ever since, I have been visiting Matthew every week. I can't stop thinking about Matthew. I fell in love with him. I have no idea how I fell into this trap. I am embarrassed to look into my son's face, but now I am with Matthew. He will graduate from the university this year. He told me he wants a child with me. He wants me to divorce my husband and marry him. But I cannot do this. My son will despise me if I marry his friend. I don't know what to do. My life will be ruined if I divorce my husband. At the same time, I cannot forget Matthew.